Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Happy New Year! And what better way to start the new year than with a classic Sudoku? Now, well, I mean, you may have other ideas of how best to start the new year, but that's what I'm going to do today. We've been sent a classic Sudoku called X Marks the Spot by Travis, who is not Dr. Dylan Travis, who sent us an absolutely glorious email in early last year, I have to say now. I wanted to say early this year. That would nearly have been the first mistake of the new year. And Dylan had written to us before about how important we'd been in helping him qualify as a doctor. And then he wrote to us when he did. And we congratulate him. But this is not that Travis. It is also not the Travis whose partner Ashley had a birthday in August that I think we shouted out. Or Travis Hotelian, who's been sending in occasional Patreon reward answers. This is a different Travis entirely, whose first puzzle this is, who's checked out our solution submission guide, our submission guidelines, and has sent us a classic. Now, we don't often do classics on the channel, and a close friend of mine suggested that when we do, that I explain a bit of the background to our preferences and what we believe in fact, in terms of classic Sudoku. And this is in case you haven't been following the channel for a full 5 years, as delightfully some have, and in case you haven't gone back and watched the 10,000s of hours of Sudoku we've done. But when we began as a crossword channel once, and then we moved into a few classic Sudokus, we gave our opinion then, and it has remained unchanged, that we abhor most newspaper classic Sudokus and indeed most app Sudokus, as computer generated, not inherently interesting. They contain the same kind of techniques that you need to solve them, and generally not very good. What we prefer is hand-designed Sudoku, where even a classic Sudoku can have a very interesting thing to find. Even if it's a kind of variant on a theme, sometimes they can be really rewarding. I'm hoping that's what we're going to get with Travis's puzzle today. And we shall see. Now, we don't like those machine-generated ones, and my close friend also suggested that we talk a little bit about what counts as bifurcation. So, to solve a difficult classic, you are going to have to look ahead a few steps. I mean, that is often true in variant Sudoku as well, but it's especially true once a classic gets difficult. You're going to have to kind of posit possible things and think about them. Now, we don't like to bifurcate when it involves actually choosing a number, writing it in, following the path through, and seeing if you either solve the puzzle or if you break it. And the main reason we don't like that is because if you do solve the puzzle correctly, you didn't prove there was only one solution. So that kind of bifurcation we don't like. We don't like. We don't mind what some people think of as bifurcation, where you think ahead a few steps by positing a digit, and if you can kind of see what the effect of that digit is in your head and work out what effect that has on this cell, and then it breaks in these two or something, we think that's perfectly reasonable and indeed necessary sometimes, and still contains the beauty of the solution. So, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I suggest be a little careful before you go, oh, this is bifurcation, I hate it. It depends on what you're doing, what puzzle you're doing, whether that is a valid comment. There, I said it all. And I don't know how it's going to apply to this puzzle. I will mention that, like Travis Hotelian, you can send in your solution to the new Patreon reward that is out on Patreon. So until the 20th, you can send in the solution to that set of puzzles on a Google form that is linked in the document, and we welcome it. We welcome anybody to have a go at it. We think it's an interesting set of puzzles, and give it a try. Join us on Patreon. You can also watch Simon solving various very long puzzles that we don't put on the main channel, and there is a new one coming up by the Cogito in a few days. That is going to be amusing too. Yes, it really is. That's on Patreon. Also, we've got all our apps, which do contain hand-designed Sudokus. Our Classic app. I honestly challenge you, try 100 puzzles from somebody else's app and then try 100 puzzles from our Classic app and see if you can't spot the difference. They are so much better, some of them by great names. And we have loads of other apps. Again, the great names feature even more prominently in those. Great stuff to treat yourself with, just like our merchandise and Sven Sudoku Pad. But the first link under the video is this puzzle, a debut by Travis, and X marks the spot, it's called. The rules are very simple. Normal Sudoku rules apply. We're going to put 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. We won't have to worry about the secret today because the sum of these things won't matter. Honestly, in a classic Sudoku, you could be using symbols and the logic will be the same. The numbers don't matter at all what they are, only that they are different from each other. Now, why it's called X marks the spot is because we get this given X of digits. In fact, it's a very symmetrical Sudoku, apart from a couple of additional 5s, I think. And really look, it's got a great look. In fact, look, you can actually trace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 down the left-hand sort of side, dipping into the middle. Lovely. And all the digits in the central column are ascending. All the digits given in the middle row are ascending. Give it a try anyway. I don't know what we're going to find, but I'm keen to give it a go. Let's get cracking. So we've got a 3 we can place straight away in row 2. Nice when you can actually get the odd digit. Yeah, look at these. These are just straight away. Okay, it might have run out there. Let's focus on the numbers that are coming up quite a lot. There's quite a few 3s in this grid. Oh, look, I'm going to finish off the 3s now. There we go. Is that right? I think they're all done. Then, oh, look, 2 there. Again, I'm just finding areas where you can see 2 2s in the same set of 3 columns, and then you can work out where the last one is. That's quite a helpful basic technique. Ah, and look, 2 and 8 are looking at those 2 cells, so they're going to form a pair here in the central box. The other digits in the box are 1, 9. Then in the row, we've got a 4, 6 pair. Now, I haven't yet used the Snyder corner notation. When I put digits in the center of a cell, that means that only those candidates are possible there. Oh, look, I've got a 1, 9 here as well. But when I can, for instance, sometimes, oh, look, you've got 2s, oops, looking into this box and seeing all of those cells. So the 2 in box 3 is in one of those 2 positions. And when we can reduce a digit to one of 2 positions in a box, stick it in the corner, and as long as you can memorize this denotation style, I think it can be very useful. Now, 4 is in one of those 3 cells, but since it's 3 cells, I'm not going to mark that. 8 is definitely in one of those 2. Oh, and 2. That's a 2-8 pair, I think. That could lead to something. That now has limited 4 to one of 2 cells down here. Yeah, I think that may be all that does. And there's the corner notation coming in again. I'm looking for more. Oh yeah, these 5s that I noticed in the original pattern. Leave 5 in one of those 2. Now what can this be? It can't be 2, 5, 8, 3, 9, 7 or 4. So that's down to one of 2 possible digits. And when the puzzle gets a bit harder, it's worth noting 2 possibles, I think. Now in that column, that was going well until I got there. 7 is in one of those 2. Oh, 7's in one of those 2 in box 1. Yeah, okay, there's 3 7s left to put in the grid. They're either in that conformation or that one. And I don't think we know which at the moment. 7, 8. I haven't really done anything particularly clever yet. I hope I'm not going to sneeze while you're watching. That would be very annoying. Oh, look, this is a 2, 4, 6 triple. I hadn't noticed that. And that is showing the value. Oh, and I can put 3 in that box. In fact, that's the last 3 in the grid. I thought I'd finished 3s, but I hadn't written one of them in. Now, the other 2 digits in the box must be 1 and 9. So, yes, it shows that the central marking can pay off when it suddenly reveals a triple like that. Now I'm on the verge of thinking I've done something reasonably smart in this puzzle by spotting that triple. I mean, it's not genius level, is it? 5, 3, 7, 8, 9. That is either 4 or 6. That one, unfortunately, well, one is confined to one of those 2 cells. That's worth noting. 5 is in one of those 2. Getting quite a lot of offset pairs within boxes. 6, but we are slowing down. I mean, this is clearly where the puzzle gets stickier. Oh, look, that is a 1, 4, 6, 9 quad, so I can place 2 in the column. That's fascinating. Didn't see that coming. Oh, it was all because of that 2, 4, 6 triple. Ah, very clever. Right. So 2 is an X-wing between those cells. Now, uniqueness would allow me to rule 8 out of those, but we don't use that technique when we're solving because it doesn't prove that there's only one solution to a puzzle. Yeah, sorry, just in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. I know that these 4 cells won't all contain 2s and 8s, because if they did in the final version of the puzzle would have definitely 2 solutions, because you could put either the 2s or the 8s in those cells and the other digits in those cells, and it wouldn't affect any other cell in the grid. So there would be at least 2 solutions, and I'm sure Travis won't have sent us a puzzle with 2 solutions. And if he has, this video won't appear. Right, where are we now? I'm getting a bit bogged down, I think, at this point. No, I'm not. Am I? I wanted to say that this is either 1, 4, 6 or 9. Actually, no, I don't think I can say that. It could be 5. I thought it was going to be another part of another quadruple, and I've undersold myself there. Oh, now this is interesting. What? Right. This is not a 6-4 pair here. And I know that because of this 4-6 pair, that would require both 4 and 6 to go into row 5, column 3. So one of these is definitely a 2. Actually, I could have known that by just looking at that triple. Anyway, this is now not a 2, which I could also have known because I've written a 2 in up there. Oh. Okay, that was not doing something clever. That was the definition of doing something very, very ordinary, and indeed belatedly. Right, where are we? This is 4 or 5. In the bottom row we have 4, 5 and 6 to place, but I don't know where they go. 2, 7, 3, 9, 3. 8's in... 8 is ruled out of all of those cells. So 8, like 2 in the other corner, is in one of those 2. Now, is that going to let me go forward? No, I don't think so. The 2s on the right were kinder than the 8s on the left to me. Come on, we still need to find something. This is not easy. Or I'm not spotting what is doable about it. I'm really not, though. 9 is confined to 2 offset cells in box 1. I hadn't seen that coming. This pair of 1, 9 is mocking me a bit. The candidates here are a little bit limited. 4, 5 and 6. Trouble is here I think we've got 1, 4, 5 and 6. Let's have a look at this quad just in case Am I missing something about it? Maybe... Oh, I am. There's a 6 in one of those two cells because the 6 here is not there. So I can actually eliminate 6 from those two. And now this is a much more restricted quad. 1 can only go in one of those two positions in the column. Oh, there we go. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Right, think about what I just said. 1 is in only one of those two positions. 9 is in one of only those two positions in column 8. And now I'm going to consider this cell. What happens if this is a 1? This is very, very pretty. I'm going to highlight the relevant cells because I think this is fascinating. If that is a 1, this can't be a 1. Now the only place for 1 in column 8 is there. Now the only place for 9 in column 8 is there. So although these cells have 3 candidates, that doesn't really matter. We've eliminated a lot of them. If 1 is there, 1 is there and 9 is there. And what happens to this cell if 1 is there and 9 is there? It implodes and we get caught in the blast zone of the debris from the implosion. So that is not a 1. I don't know what that technique is called. It's kind of an extended Y-wing. I mean, you can tell me what that is. Maybe that is a simple colouring or an X cycle. I don't know. Anyway, this doesn't work if it's a 1. And this is the sort of look ahead that I think is very much within anybody's compass. It's very, if you spot that 1 is limited to those cells and 9 is limited to those, I think this is very potentially viewable and non-bifurcation. It's just a really beautiful 2-step chain that rules out anything from working in the puzzle. Anyway, I have a feeling that is going to be very helpful and we shall see. That becomes a 9, this becomes a 1. Now that doesn't clear up any of those 1s and 9s, it doesn't affect them, but I'm sure it will go somewhere else, like 9 in box 1, maybe more importantly 1 in box 7, which fixes 5 in box 7. Now there's a 4-6 pair here, looking directly at that cell which becomes a 9, and that's finished box 9 and row 9. This is a pair that I can't resolve, but I know they're a 5-9 pair now. 4 looks up into this quadruple that had the properties of a chocolate teapot until now. Everything is getting resolved in these final 3 columns, he says, until reaching an impasse with the 4-5 pair at the top. That 2 fixes 8 and 2 here. Then we have 6, 7, 9 to fill in here. They just go in. This one is a naked single 6. Haven't spotted a naked single yet, so I'm glad to have got one finally. A naked single is when a cell in the puzzle sees 8 of the Sudoku digits from where it is in its row, column or box, and then you can just work out what the remaining possibility is. That's 5 or 8. This is another naked single. So in its column, it sees 2, 9, 3, 1, 8, 5. In its row, it sees 7 and 6. This must be a 4. And I mean, we've basically freed up the puzzle to tell us these things since finding that sort of remote pair issue. I don't know, again, as I say, I don't know what the technique actually is called. But it's going to solve the whole thing. I mean, we're not going to get stopped from here because basically we've got everything at this point. 7 and 5 are fixed. This top row needs 6 and 8. We can just do them based on the given 6, and then we can probably follow the 8 down, follow the 2 back up, follow the 1 downwards, and finish off with the 5-9 pair. And there we go. That's the solution. I mean, nearly 13 minutes. Not incredibly hard, but with one very pretty step that is a great learning experience for pencil marking, the value of that, for narrowing things down to pairs, and then for just looking ahead a couple of steps. Really nice puzzle, Travis. exactly what we wanted to start the year. And you know, some people will post that they did this in 3 or 4 minutes, and my hat is off to them. You could do it very quickly if you're prepared to bifurcate in the manner of Jakub Andruszek or somebody in the World Sudoku Championship. You could always solve this very quickly, but it's nice to spot the beauty of that intriguing set of 5 cells, or 4 cells maybe, that made that happen. Oh, I like that they end up as 9s and 1s as well. That feels appropriate. Anyway, there we go. That was X marks the spot. Very nice start to the year. We will see you again for more tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.